Hey, it's Cutting Down the Nets. It's the big Saturday show, and I've got everything organized by tip time. So that's nice, because if you're joining late, you can just kind of skip ahead to all the remaining games. For the year, we're sitting good, 55.4% on nearly 700 games in the last 7 days, 58%. We do have one bet hanging out there right now. It's UNLV with a very bad number that I lost closing line value on, which doesn't happen very often, but it certainly did today. So, without further ado, let's get to the 140 games. Don't worry, I filtered most of them out. And we'll get to work here. If you're new here, let me take a moment to explain what this is and what you're seeing. Every line you see here, whether it's Paddy, which is my model, Bart Torvik, KenPom, those are analytic sites, and then the actual point spread, everything is the home point spread. So if you see a negative, we have the home team favored in that scenario. If you see a positive number, the road team is favored in that scenario. As for how the model works and some of the language that we'll be using when talking about risk factors, everything is in the description of this video. If you have questions, fire away. Throw them in the comments. Be happy to help. So, if you see green, it's I like the play, I like the matchup, I like the number. It's possible we could get a better number. I'll kind of talk through that. Yellow is, all right, I'm on board from an analytic standpoint, but there might be a little bit of risk, whether it's the type of situation or some of the factors listed in the description. And then orange is, look, it's fine, but trying to control the card a little bit, if you may. All right, Miami at Georgia Tech. I have Miami by 5.5. They've obviously been running hot from three. Shot quality does give Miami the edge here, and they have a turnover edge. But at this point, I think we all understand if you're betting Miami, you are buying super high on Miami. Luckily, they have got tripped up a couple times. That kind of keeps things in check. So I'm on the Miami side. I don't know if I'll be betting it because I'm only showing 3 points of value. So that 3 points of value is taking my point spread and the difference between that and the actual point spread. All right, we'll move a little quicker now. Duke at Louisville. Two things happen when you fire a coach. Team quits or the team responds. I think we're looking at the latter. That's why this game is yellow. So I'm showing a lot of value. Duke obviously has an injury concern on their side. Louisville has personnel concerns on their side. So how many points is losing Chris Mack as your coach worth for Louisville is kind of the question. Shot quality has Duke 21, Louisville 87, and I'm showing 5 points of value. So I'm on the Duke side. I've seen some sharp people tonight on the Louisville side. I think it's 100% betting on the situation, the motivation, the home crowd, the energy of apparently ridding yourself from a coach who I thought was a pretty good coach, obviously not a good fit at that institution. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at. LSU at TCU. I'm on the Frog side here. I think it's been kind of cliche and kind of trendy to fade LSU, and I think this is a fair line right now. I thought we'd get something much, much, much bigger, and it may come. So I'm not in a hurry to bet this game. But shot quality has this even. It's Team Luck Box meets Team Luck Box, and across the board, these teams are very similar. So I have TCU as a slight favorite. I'm not interested in them at +3 because I just think you're able to get a better number. And if the better number doesn't come, then you could settle for the 3. Luckily, these games are fairly early, so I think you'll know right away. Wichita State, Tulane, I capped just in case the market had not caught up to Tulane. But it has. And shot quality disagrees, so there's enough risk there that I'm going to pass on that. Michigan State is a pass for me as well. Not showing enough value on either side. Next up, St. Joe's against Cutting Down the Net's favorite fade, which is St. Bonaventure. Look, I like St. Bonaventure. I do. And I have them winning this game just slightly, but getting 11 points here. Look, I think Bonaventure could find ways to score inside, as You can on St. Joe's, but St. Joe's tries to force you in to jump shots, and that's kind of what we're banking on here. But ultimately, this is going to come down to St. Joe's shooting over the pack line, and I'm just showing a ridiculous amount of value from an efficiency standpoint. So how is that calculated? You can watch the pinned video on this channel, but basically I'm taking the adjusted offensive and defensive efficiencies for both teams, I'm mashing them up, and I weight recent play pretty heavily. So even if I am wrong there due to some 3-point luck or some possible regression coming, that's just a lot of buffer. All right, West Virginia and Arkansas. I thought we'd have a better number here, maybe the 5-4 range. So at this point, it's a no for me. It's all the way, it's at 7.5, so I'll pass on that. North Carolina State at North Carolina. Look, North Carolina is a public team, and I've been itching to fade them and have incorrectly faded them a couple times recently. And I don't love the number here, and I think you'll be able to get a better number. So I'm interested, but I would wait here. But shot quality has these teams nearly even. So I'm in, but give me a better number. Missouri at Iowa State, I'm going to pass. I thought that would be more like a 14-ish point spread, and it's 11.5. SLU at Duquesne, not enough value there. Decent situational spot for the Dukes, in case you're interested. LU Brooklyn at Bryant, yeah, no thanks. Not on a giant Saturday like this. Middle Tennessee at Western Kentucky. The Paddy, the model, likes Western Kentucky, or likes Middle Tennessee to keep it close here, but that shot quality disparity was enough for me to not even dig in to the matchup. Winthrop at Longwood. Kind of been a Winthrop fader lately. Their defense is a sieve, and that's kind of what happens. Look, Longwood's is too, but I think there are enough advantages for Longwood in this matchup. They've got a turnover edge. They've got a rebounding edge, and they're laying 4 at home. Paddy has them closer to 8 points. Next up, Long Beach State at UC Davis. So shot quality gives a bit of an edge here to UC Davis, and it's the least important of the 4 factors, but Long Beach is 19th in free throw rate. UC Davis is 325th in free throw rate. So why do we bring up free throw rate then? Well, because UC Davis is 331st in bench minutes. So if they get in foul trouble, they usually don't go very deep in the bench. And we're looking for edges here. At cutting down the nets, we fight for these inches. We tear ourselves and everyone around us apart for these inches. We claw with our fingernails for these inches because we know at the end of the day, it's the difference between fucking winning and losing. Next up, Maryland Eastern Shore, Coppin State. I'm showing some value there on Maryland Eastern Shore, but not enough. And man, anytime you got 2 bad teams, I always say this, feels like a Monday bet, not a Saturday bet. Baylor, Alabama. I have actually bet this so far. I grabbed 2. It could be fishy. It honestly could. It feels like a trap. But at some point, you have to acknowledge that maybe regression is not coming for the Bama perimeter. There are turnover concerns on both sides, but major turnover concerns for Alabama in this game. And Baylor's going to eat on the offensive glass. Should be a wild arena, but give me a full-strength Baylor here. This feels like the Memphis game on steroids. So what happened to Bama against Memphis? Now in a hostile environment, I understand that. But this feels like that on steroids. Hey, the first blue game. Why is this blue? Because I have no idea what's going on with the spread. I thought it opened as Pitt -4, but it's Boston College -4. So I must have put a wrong KenPom number on there. I truly don't know. So I need to dig into that. Should be one of those elite grinding matchups. Anyway, App State, Little Rock, not going to lay that many points with App State. It opened much lower. USC Upstate versus North Carolina A&T. Normally wouldn't have interest in this, but at more than 2 possessions, I just capped this as a fairly even game. So it should be a high variance game, but 6.5, that's a lot of value there. Keep going through the schedule. We're working down to southeastern Louisiana, affectionately known as Sela. Sela laying 11.5. Are you nuts? Against Incarnate Word? Look, it's a lot of points, and I don't know if the pace gets there, but anytime I'm showing 7.6 points of value, I'm interested. So, that'll be a tough one. It's kind of in my second tier. SFPA at the Mount. I have the Mount by 11. They're laying 5.5, but Shot Quality has these teams fairly even. It's a reasonable number, but it is a slow pace, and the Mount is 330th in offensive turnover percentage. Not good, Bob. Georgia at Vandy. Look, Georgia sucks, but and their profile's lifted a little bit by the recent game, but with the slow pace and Georgia's ability to get to the free throw line, 10.5. Yeah, I'm interested. So not great, 3 points of value, but I'm okay. Mississippi State, Texas Tech. Thought we might get a favor here because Mississippi State shows up pretty strong in the analytics, and I think Texas Tech is now in the discussion of a legit, not only Final Four contender, but title contender. Bryson's unconscious. They're healthy. Their defense has not wavered, and now their offense is clicking. Scary stuff. Kentucky, Kansas. Yes, I'm aware of the personnel issues on the Kentucky side, but give me Kentucky on the glass as a difference maker. Shot Quality has this pretty close. I get that Fog Island's a tough place to play, but 5 points. Yeah, I will take it. Jacksonville State, Liberty, not enough there on a Saturday. High variance games with Liberty anyway. UConn DePaul, similar situation. I think DePaul can hang around in this game. Far better team at home. And just not quite enough for me to want to pull the trigger. Boy, I've lost a lot of Cal bets this year because analytically they're fine. USC keeps winning games but dropping in analytics, and that's like my sweet spot. So Shot Quality has this fairly close. I think Cal can compete on the boards here too. So getting a dozen just feels like good value. Bellarmine and Florida Gulf Coast. Just from a basketball perspective, I think everyone should watch at least one Bellarmine game in their lifetime. It's just a very unique offense. It's really cool. Their defense, not so cool. And that's what I can't trust here. So I do favor the Bellarmine side. But, big Saturday. Don't need to squeeze plays out. Same here, a couple orange, but under consideration. You'll see them. One of these make the pool. Santa Clara at San Francisco. 7.5 is a lot to lay. Shot Quality has these teams closer than what my data does and most analytics sites. But I'm interested in the motivation factor. We've seen San Francisco's ceiling. They've hung with Gonzaga. They've blown some giant leads, and then everything else has been pretty good. It's a good ball team. Good guards, obviously. Got some things they need to clean up and expect high motivation there. I keep getting buried by South Florida because they're not good. And here we've got just 2 possessions for Tulsa. Tulsa's profile is dragged down a little bit by Tulane's hot shooting last game, too. All right, let's get to the Cougs. But let's stop with this nonsense. This is a green game. Doesn't matter who Kelvin Sampson has playing for him anymore. Shot Quality has UCF at 90, Houston at 7. And if you look at this matchup, there's edges everywhere. Turnovers, offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, inside shots, outside shots. It's everywhere. So I don't like laying points. I certainly don't like doing it on the road, but sign me up, baby. Cal Poly at Irvine. Pace alone puts this into play. I mean, we could be likely under 60 possessions here. So getting 2 touchdowns in a 58, maybe 56 possession game is amazing. But, man, Poly is turnover prone, and that scares me because there could be some long droughts in that game. We'll keep scrolling down to our final game in the pool, and it's Hawaii hosting Santa Barbara. Shot quality gives Santa Barbara a little bit of an edge, and there are some turnover concerns for Hawaii, but they've just been more efficient as a whole. It's like these little edges are adding up. So I have Hawaii by 7, and it's a pick 'em. So what's all this add up to? Left side is preferred plays. All of these are in the pool. And even though NC State and TCU are preferred plays, I'm waiting for better numbers on those. But to recap, TCU against LSU, come on, one more time. St. Joe's shooting over the St. Bonaventure Pack, yes. NC State against rival North Carolina. Longwood laying 4 against Winthrop. Baylor laying 2 at Alabama. Kentucky getting 5 at Fog Allen. And Houston laying 7. Kind of the next tier means there's concerns with the situation, the number. It's just not perfect, but I see value in all of these. Would be Duke laying 7 at Louisville. The Beach getting 3 at UC Davis. Playing the foul edge there, if you like that. USC Upstate in what I feel is close to a pick 'em, getting more than 2 possessions. SELA laying a giant number. The Mount laying a fairly good number. Georgia getting 10.5 at Vanderbilt. San Francisco bouncing back, but hoping for a better number there as well. Can we win a Cal bet? Time will tell. Getting a dozen against USC. And then a nightcap for some late night action with Hawaii over Santa Barbara. This is Cutting Down the Nets. It's been a fun year. If you're new here, welcome. We do this every day. Again, a lot of information in the description of this video. I don't like to be too repetitive as we have many repeat listeners, so feel free to ask questions. This is Cutting Down the Nets.